Hey guys, this is Mark Howard, author of the Griffin Legends fantasy novel series. I'm joining you here today to start a YouTube channel, a video blog, or whatever it is we want to call this thing. And so some of you are probably already aware of a little bit of who I am and what I'm doing. And so if you're a fan that has been with me from the very beginning, that's great. So happy to have you here. If you are someone just joining this adventure, I'm thrilled to have you here as well. I wanted to create this channel as a way to keep in touch with the fans. There are some things we could do in future videos like author Q&As. I could speak about various characters in my books, a little bit about what is next in line in the queue for upcoming stories and all that kind of stuff. Really, there's a lot of different possibilities that we can go with here, and if I'm going to be uploading videos fairly regularly, which I intend to, then we're probably going to cycle through a lot of these ideas somewhat quickly. So if you are watching and you happen to have a great idea for something we should do or talk about, please let me know. Contact me on social media, leave comments, all that kind of thing. There's not too much that is off the table at this point. So let me talk to you a little bit, again, for those of you who are just now joining us here and don't know who I am or why you should care about me. I am a fantasy author. I have always had an interest in writing. I've been writing for a really long time, but it's been, oh gosh, I've always had story ideas in my head, but I don't think I really took writing super serious until towards the end of my undergrad, when I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, I've just about got my degree here. The job market, this was back in 2014, wasn't looking super hot. It might not still be looking super hot depending where you are. And so I said to myself, what I really want to do is write. And if I am going to write, then I need to make the time. The time is not going to present itself. There just won't be this magical big bubble of time that just opens up for me to write the books that I want to write. And so if I'm going to do it, I got to do it now. And it took me about 5 years to write my first novel going that way. And it was a big, long struggle trying to get it published after that. But eventually overcame those hurdles, and I have not just my first novel out, which I'll grab a copy and show you here. This is Godfrey's Crusade, first book in the Griffin Legends. I have a newer version out on Amazon right now that has the series title of the Griffin Legends as well as the title of the individual book. So this is a slightly outdated copy, but you should still be able to find this on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or something like that easily enough. And so not only do I have that first novel out, but now I also have a second novel, the sequel to the first novel, Godfrey Under Siege, book 2 of the Griffin Legends. And I have so many people to thank in this journey. My wife, who supported me through a lot of this process, friends and family who were encouraging, and all of that. So I just wanted to take a brief moment to thank all of you who have been there along the way to give me critical feedback that helped make these stories better than what they were in their raw form. And all of you who have been out there supporting me and encouraging me to continue on this journey, because I have a lot more story ideas in this setting that I eventually want to see made into additional books in this series, and maybe even other series and standalone books that are in this setting, but maybe not strictly part of this series. So without further ado, let me talk up to you for just a moment about what my books are actually about here. Because again, some of you who are brand new to this might be saying, oh, he's just talking on, and why should I care? So the Griffin Legend series follows this young knight by the name of Godfrey, and it's set in its own world, right? Like how Lord of the Rings is written in Middle Earth as the setting, right? It's not our world. There's monsters, there's magic, but I also wanted to have a setting that was somewhat grounded in history while still being its own world. And so I took all of my knowledge of the Middle Ages and sprinkled in a good chunk of classic Greek and Roman mythology, and I created my own setting with those two big sources of inspiration. And so we're in this world, and we're following this young knight, Godfrey, and as the title of the first book implies, he quickly gets wrapped up in this crusade movement here. And he undergoes a lot of struggles, right? There are the physical challenges of fighting battles against these monsters and other human cultures who worship the dark gods in this setting and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that our young protagonist was not expecting is to be faced by internal threats, to have these rivalries with other leaders in the crusade who are all squabbling about what it is the crusade should even be doing in the first place. That was something that I thought was very interesting when I myself was studying the Crusades in college, and by my own estimation here, at least, a number of crusades actually failed because the leadership couldn't agree on what they should do in the first place. So I thought that that was an interesting idea to kind of run with here for this first book. And the second book picks up pretty much right where the first book leaves off, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with the second book, right? Whenever you make a sequel to something as a creator, right, whether this is a book or a movie or whatever the form of media may be you're trying to create in, there's this balance you got to strike between giving fans more of what they love about the first one while also trying to introduce some new ideas, right? Try to keep it fresh, try to spice it up here a little bit. And so that's a difficult balance to achieve there, and a lot of people fall flat when they do it. So I'll let you guys be the judge on how that one pans out there, whether you think I did better on my second book or on my first book. But so far, at least, this second book has been out for a little while. People seem to really like the second book. They seem to think that it's even better than the first book. So huge amount of high praise there. And again, thank you so much for those of you who have read it and have commented on it. And again, it's just really encouraging to me to see that you guys want more. And so I'm thrilled by that. But anyway, sidetracked there. Let me tell you a little bit about what happens in the second book. So in the second book here, the crusade is kind of winding down to a certain extent. Not to spoil you on too many details, but the crusade is kind of winding down, and Godfrey, he gets stuck defending this one particular castle in this book. And so while the first book does a lot of traveling between different locations on the map here. The second book is a little bit more narrow in its focus. The second book is all about one particular siege for the most part. And so that's where the focus is. And Godfrey, he has, like the first book, it's not just the external struggles against the guys outside of the castle that are trying to get him, but there's also a lot of, again, internal struggles that Godfrey faces a lot of emotional challenges, and he has a lot of maturing to do, and he does not necessarily respond to every challenge that he faces in maybe the most heroic way. And so the tone of the second book is a little bit darker than the first book. It's, I would say the first book is a bit more optimistic, but the second book is a little bit more pessimistic in its outlook. Still, all said and told, again, trying not to spoil you on too many details. It's hard not to because I get so excited for these things. But there are going to be more adventures after this, right? I think at one point I was planning on this being a trilogy, but as time has gone on, I've just had so many ideas that I'm thinking, at least right now, that this book is going, or this series is going to be probably 5 books long, if not a little bit longer than that. I can't see this actually wrapping up in just 3 books. So if you really love what I've written so far, or if you are on the cusp of beginning this adventure and you say, oh, wow, I better see what this is all about. Don't worry, guys. There's a lot more to come down the pipe. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning to you guys here is in the paperback versions of my novels, I am actually including some short stories in this same setting. It's their own little mini adventures where some of the same characters that you have already met in the main narrative of the novels, but there's also some new characters, some new adventures, things going on in kind of these like mini adventures, like I said, that you might also be interested in. So if you don't have a physical copy of Godfrey Under Siege or Godfrey's Crusade, it might be worth picking up so that you can get a hold of those short stories. Now, for those of you who prefer ebooks, don't worry, this is not a dig on you guys. When I get more of these short stories written out, I do eventually intend to compile all of them into a short story anthology, which will be in both physical and digital form. So if you're one of those people that it's like ebook or nothing, don't worry, you will eventually get those short stories too here. But let's see, what else there? I had another thought, but I lost it, and maybe it'll come back to me here. Oh, yes. So also in regards to short stories here, if you want to be the first to read my newest short stories as they come out. Oh, gosh darn it, the light turned off here. So guys, I don't know if you can still see me or not. Maybe I can wave around here. And nope, that's not doing it. I'm going to have to turn on the light. Okay, hopefully that's better. You know, I'm not going to do another take. I've spoken too much, and I'm not, yeah, you're not getting another take. We're just going to keep rolling with this because I don't have great video editing skills, so this is what we got. Anyway, side tangent here. I'm actually filming this video in one of the classrooms for where I got my master's degree here. I can talk about that a little bit more later. But I needed kind of a quiet space away from the wife and kids, who I do love dearly, but my kids are very small, and right now they are at a point where bedtime's not really bedtime, so I couldn't rely on my own home as a nice, quiet place to film this. But anyway, so we were talking about short stories, and the latest short story I'm working on. So I am currently finished with a first draft of my latest short story in this Griffin Legends series here. And so if you want to be the first to read that when it comes out, sign up on my website email list. It's www.thegriffinlegends.com. Sign up for the email list there, and I will be more than happy to make sure that you're the first to read that newest short story once it's ready. I'm estimating that it will probably be a few more weeks before it is ready here from the time of filming. I haven't really worked on the latest short story for this week. I feel that when you are in the writing process, you want to let a work sit for a little while, give it time to cool off before you get into editing. So I'm planning on starting the editing process on Monday here, so a few days from now. And after I do a couple rounds of revisions myself, I go through this standard process of giving this story to some beta readers for feedback, who, again, if you guys are watching, I owe you guys a lot for improving these stories here. So thank you so much for that. And then after my beta readers get a hold of it and they read it themselves and give me some feedback, then it goes to my editor, who, again, great guy. I would recommend him to anyone out there. So special shout out to you, Michael Waits. Yeah, like I said, anyone looking for a great editor, I completely 100% endorse him. And I hope he's okay with being mentioned here in this video. I don't know, maybe I'll get an angry email from him a little later today, but I don't think so, because Mike's a great guy. But anyway, so whenever Michael's schedule frees up here, he'll then look at my short story and give me some more feedback, point out all the commas that I shouldn't have or commas that I should have, and then after all that, then it'll be done. So I'm estimating that that's going to be at least a few weeks out here, but I'm hoping to get that to you certainly before we get to the end of November, if not sooner. Cross our fingers. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I've got for now in this little introductory video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this this rant here of mine. And so there will be more coming down the pipe. Like I said, if you have ideas that you would like to see me talk about, like I said, there's going to be a Q&A coming up here soon. Like I said, there's a lot of different things that I could talk about with what I'm doing with this fantasy novel series, questions you may have, ideas that I have about good stories in general. Anyway, the list is pretty exhaustive here. I won't bother you too much with that now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next time.